So what we're looking at doing now is making this kind of expanding set of circles. Okay, so if we grab a circle here, okay, then basically what I think we want to do first is have 2 copies of this circle, okay, because we're going to be using it a lot and kind of cutting out the same circle from other parts of the same circle, and we want to be able to expand it from the middle. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to copy this circle and paste it onto a new layer and just use the smart guides to get them to snap together. Okay, in fact I'm not going to rely on the smart guides, I'm going to use the align tool. So if you come up to the top here, we can use these align tools to align objects together. Okay, so I'm going to turn this layer off now and just kind of leave it in case I need it later. In fact, I'll drop it to the back. So basically now we've got one circle, I've hidden this layer, and we're going to start to kind of slice this up and think about how we can make it into these different shapes. Okay, so I'm going to grab the rectangle tool. Okay, alright, and then I know I've made a copy of the circle, but I'm going to make another one just for good measure. Okay, and then I'm going to select those two objects, and I'm going to go to the Pathfinder. Seem to have hidden. Okay, and basically there's a couple of things I could do here, but I want to stick to using these 2 tools. I could use the intersect to kind of get the intersect point, but I want to just use the minus front object, which is going to cut out the front of that circle. Okay, and then I'm going to use edit, paste in place, and that will paste the circle right back in the same spot. Okay, so then I'm going to grab another rectangle here, okay, and do the same thing. Okay, so now we've got 2 circles, and we'll just use the swatches here to make them different colors. Okay, so now I'm going to copy this half circle and then do the same again here to chop this up. Okay, all right. Okay, so I just use a shortcut there to send that object to the back. Okay, so basically I sent this half circle to the back by using object arrange, send to back, send backwards, just by doing command and the left square bracket, which you can see up here. Okay, so that's one thing you'll find yourself doing a lot in Illustrator, is using that kind of arranging of objects, because they're always stacking like a deck of cards. And actually I'm going to scrap what I did earlier and just copy those, and then if I hold down Alt and that's not going to work. Let's copy them, paste them in place. Okay, and then we're going to use the rotate option here, because we can then pull that anchor point down to the middle and rotate them around there. Okay, so basically we've kind of chopped our circle up into 4 pieces that we can color differently. Okay, so I'm going to go back to that original circle here and just copy it back onto that layer. Okay, I'm just going to leave that, leave that right here, and I'm going to use, so you can scale things differently in Illustrator. So if I scale just by having the object selected, it's going to scale down to the bottom left. Okay, but if I want it to scale to the middle of where it is, then I need to hold down, I've forgotten the shortcut, there we go, Alt. So if you hold down Alt when you're scaling something, it will scale to the center of that. Okay, so hold down Alt and then it will scale around the center rather than to the other parts. Okay, so if we now grab these and copy them and go to edit, paste in place, and then if we hold down Alt again and scale them up, okay, and then we'll just rotate them a little bit. I don't think the original was rotated, but we'll do that anyway. Then you can start to see we get this kind of interesting pattern going on. So I'm copying the enlarge shape, doing Shift, Command, Alt, and V, and that pastes it in place. Or you can do Edit, paste in place until, oh sorry, Shift, Command, and V to paste in place, not Shift, Command, Alt, and V. And then we can select these and use Object, Arrange, Center Back. Okay, and then we can keep building it up, so you can see how you kind of build up that shape. Now, the one thing we haven't got is the kind of colors all set up in there, but before we do that, I just want to show you one selection tool we can use to change all the colors. We'll make a couple more duplicates of this before we do that though. So if we grab these, if I can just grab them all apart from the central one, and then copy and paste in place. Okay, and then I'm just going to highlight these and send them to the back, and then transform them up. Okay, so I've got, I think I've lost one somewhere in my layers. Okay. I should have grouped them. That's what I should have done. That would have made it much simpler. Okay, let's go back a few steps. I was trying to duplicate too many at the same time. So let's see where we're at here. Okay. So let's group that. So that's the okay. Alright, that'll do. So with this now, I'm going to ungroup these just for the moment, and I've definitely got more in there than I thought I had. So if I go to Object, Ungroup, then all those objects are ungrouped now. So what I can do now is go through and start to select and change some of the colors. I can also use this tool, the Magic Wand tool, to select all the objects that are pink. So if I now go to the fill here, you can see I'm just selecting those objects. So that's a really useful function of the Magic Wand tool. So wherever we would have something that had a fill of pink, or in this case green, then we can select that and change it. Okay, so let's change some. So I'm selecting deliberately the direct selection tool now, so I'm selecting the shapes individually, and you can see we can gradually build up something not too dissimilar to the Sonia Delaunay's example that we were kind of working with. Okay, so we get that nice repetition in there with those colors. Okay. Okay. Let's just change this one. All right. So that's kind of one approach to making that. There's also other ways that you can kind of make these concentric circles that expand out of one another using outlines. But if you want to kind of look into that yourself, then please do. But I just want everyone mostly to focus on using the Pathfinder tools to get used to how you kind of make these combinations of shapes to kind of chop and cut things as well. Okay.